Welcome to the Think Holistic Podcast by Indie Holistic Hub, a show designed to help you on your wellness journey. When you think holistic, you live holistic. Find out more at indieholistichub.com. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Sefrin.
Hello, it is a great day to think holistic. I am absolutely delighted that I get to spend some of my day having a very meaningful conversation with Annie Truesdell. Welcome, Annie. Thank you so much for carving out time with me today.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I'm honored and very happy to do this. It's a lovely thing you do. And for all those people out there that you may not even realize you help, I would like to say thank you to you for all the ways you help us get better, more filled with love, more filled with light. The work that you do really matters. So thank you very much. Let's start with that one.
Oh, my heart is soaking that up. My being, my or does or
send it right on in.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the stage at Walk the Talk some years back now, however many that was. And I just adored your message and everything that you were about. And what I would call like those divine synchronicities in life that just jazz me up so much. You really dove into that and highlighted that. And it was such a beautiful conversation that you had with us on that stage. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I woke up today and I'm like, I get to have that one-on-one with her today. Like, that's amazing. So
we had so much fun that night, didn't we?
It was
it was great.
So good. So good. So with that, I want to share with people out there tuning in that don't yet know you that you are the creator of God Sign Institute. We're going to talk about some of those God signs today. You are also work out of Inner Path here in the Indianapolis area. And you're the author of 2 books as well. So you have all sorts of things out in the world that you have created and are doing. And we will also have in the show notes here, how can people follow you and find you? So
perfect.
Yes. All right. So when I was looking at your mission, I wanted to start there because I was like, wow. And I read that I wanted to quote this, that you said missions to help prove to people how magnificent they are, how vast they are, how powerful they are, how eternal they are. And I was like, that is powerful indeed. So I wanted to start with that and let you share a little bit more and lean into like, gosh, what does that mean? And then even tell us part of like what's led you down this path in your mission in the world.
The whole vastness, power, eternal is actually something life and the energies that surround you every day try to prove to each and every one of us with the messages, with the synchronicities, coincidences, or actually a coincide dance between your spirit and life. And because of the electrical fields, because of the energy fields, because of the chakras that run everything in our physical bodies, energy cannot be destroyed. And so we are eternal simply through the physics of us, even if we may still not be taught to many the physics of us that allows us, causes us, proves to us we are eternal. But life then that surrounds you with colors and with numbers and with words and with animals and the coincidences and the serendipitous moments, all of that is life trying to prove to you how loved you are, how vast you can be when you realize how connected you are, and also that life is here to help us not to be difficult. Society can be very difficult, but you don't have to think to breathe. Life itself is actually brought us in, will take us home, and in between wants us to be able to live our most loving, fulfilled, compassionate, happy lives that we can. And so for people who notice signs, who notice how life speaks to them, it makes it a whole lot easier. It reduces anxiety. It's more a holistic approach to life because you find out you're never alone. And life is the one that wants to prove that to you. And sometimes the last thing we pay attention to is the life that's surrounding us. We're so worried about everybody else's.
Indeed.
Yes. And we need to worry less about everybody else's and see the messages of love that surround us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was reflecting earlier and preparing for the day. And of course, part of my preparations of the day was this conversation. And imagining our world if we were taking in less of the fearful, headlines and messages that were being fed all the time, via multiple channels, whether on the TV, on a device, etc., social media. And if we decided to tune into what you're talking about rather than that,
right,
the difference that would make in the world and the experience and the exchanges people would have with one another would be completely transformed.
In days, in moments. And that's what there's millions of us. We forget the hundreds of millions of us that look at life this way, that see life this way. People who understand the interconnections of all of this are drawn to each other. But we also have to understand that life is making money by feeding us fear. I said that wrong. I did. I apologize. It's not life that's doing it. It is the media. It is business. It is a lot of people make money out of fear, and they feed us a steady diet of it and call it entertainment. When if you really want to entertain yourself, if you really want to enter into your own attainment in life, then you find people who lift you up, who bring in the lighter energies. You start paying attention how double digits, triple digits, many people read numbers, math can be used to uplift, okay, when you don't keep concentrating on a budget or necessarily what's in your bank account, but the multiple fours, which are angels saying hello, or multiple threes, which are life saying, you've got this, it's okay. Or your mom's birthday number, and she's been passed for a while, but she's trying to show up with her birthday number saying, I'm right here next to you. There's lots of ways to entertain yourself without having to just assume the diet, consume the diet of that negativity you're talking about. Because they're all making, if they scare us, we pay more attention instead of realizing there's not that much, honestly, truly to be scared of unless you buy into their whole programming.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times the world was coming to an end in your mind's lifetime, Jennifer, but it's not happened and it's not going to. But they make lots of money getting us, it's coming to an end again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always love it when I hear about, unprecedented times. I'm like, how many unprecedented times have there been in the world?
And you and I are of a generation that we remember and we honor our grandparents and the parents of the wars in World War II, but we are relatively spoiled. And so sometimes there's some of us that is like, this is too good, so I'm going to go look for something to bring me down. And that's one of the reasons I teach people, please look at the messages that are around you. We have all kinds of sporting teams. Sports can build people up. They can also bring you down, but you have eagles, which represent source. You have dolphins, which represents dream state. You have falcons, all these throw footballs, shoot basketballs. You have favorite teams that you like. Those are animals that are trying to speak to you with their positive messages because they do what they need to do to survive, but they don't go around coming down or creating fear out of life. But they have always been used to bring us messages, such as a cardinal bird. Very few people don't know that a loved one from spirit can bring you cardinal birds to say hello, and hummingbirds. And there's different messages. So hummingbird is about joy. and I believe brought by the sacred entities of the angels. When you see cardinal birds, that's somebody that you love very much that's in spirit, that is returning the love, returning the passion. It can be family members because it's blood ties, the red of the blood between us and the red of the cardinal. These little things can end up lifting you up, okay, in just moments of time that carry you through the day, as opposed to the 5-minute news program that will keep you down for the rest of the day. And which would you really prefer? And what does the holistic approach hope to get you to, which is a feeling of wholeness? I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay. And that's what life, I think, concentrates. We've got the sun for the energies that we need. We have water for what we need to drink. We have plenty of food. We have each other. And instead we entertain and look at all those things we don't have. And so when you start noticing the signs of life, it's trying to get you to please turn your attention as to the lack and look at all the fullness, the vastness, like we said, of you, the power of you. And you're the one that has the choice as to where you turn your power to.
Yes.
And we get very
choice.
confused by that. Yes. Whistles and bells. Look, life's coming to an end again. It's all, you want to watch me because I'll tell you how to get through it, instead of listening to yourself inside and noticing. One of the things I like to tell people, that the only fee for this, the only cost to this, is to pay attention to the numbers around you, to the animals in a t-shirt, in a tattoo, to the music that's playing around you or playing in your head. There are many of us that have what is called clairaudience, which means you're getting clarity through the sounds around you. The way a siren will get your attention, or your alarm going off, whether we like it or not. But most people don't understand that often we'll have a song that's giving us lyrics, the words, to give us direction, or to send us a positive message from a loved one. That's their favorite Beatles song, and their birthday numbers on your digital clock as it comes over the radio. There's ways. Music is a universal. We all know music we can put on and we're ready to clean the house, or I'm ready to go on my bike ride. And there's other music that can stop you in your tracks, and you got to get a tissue because the tears start to roll. That power of that sound is called clairaudience, and you can get clarity through it if you pay attention. You have to just pay attention to what's around you.
Indeed. And I remind myself often about the powerful present moment that is only what is.
Yes.
And how much power there is in that.
Yes.
If we're paying attention, Annie.
Yes.
And, you know, of all the divine synchronicities and moments I've experienced, and then think, gosh, what are the ones I've missed, you know? And it requires that paying attention, you know, working that awareness muscle and taking
you can
what's around you.
Yes. And because go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, everything, it's like every part of life is those messages. And I like how you said, like, through sports, through the music, and through numbers, through colors that are grabbing your attention. My son when we go to school, and this happens somehow, I don't remember, but he would decide, I would say, like, what kind of day do you want to have? And he would define it by a color.
Yes.
And we're going to have a red day.
That's an old soul, right?
We're going to have a rainbow day. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? You know? And so it's just even being curious, like being curious about what is.
Right. Well, here's a little trick for parents and anybody out there. The color he picks for any particular day can be telling you as a mom, number one, what chakra fields, what energy fields are his guardians, is his spirit working on that day. Let's say he needs to give a book report and he wears blue, and that old soul of his knows that he's working with the communication area of the throat chakra. And so blues can help you it more easily communicate what the messages you have. Whereas opposed to green is the heart chakra, and he's looking forward to spending lunch with some friends, or he himself is trying to build a new friendship relationship and it's coming from the heart, or he's got a teacher he really likes and he wants to impress. There's different. Yellow is about shining a light on something. Purple is about his spiritual center is waking up and trying to work on different things. And most of us don't realize if you have a dear friend that you're having a meal with for lunch or dinner at a restaurant, you can tell a great deal about what's going on with their life or them or their heart by the colors that they're wearing. And you said a word that's very, very important to all this, and that's present, to be in the present moment. And that word is one I like to get people to pay attention to, because if I give you a present, Jennifer, you were talking about your son's birthday's coming up. You're going to be buying him presents. Okay. So when somebody says the word present, to be in the present moment is to give a gift to yourself. Because whether you are in the present moment or you are buying a present for your son, it is pre-sent. Usually we don't buy something right at that moment. We get it ahead of time. Okay. And it's wrapped. And in this present moment, if you pay attention to what's around you, you will start to give yourself a gift from the messages that life is bringing you. But also in this present moment, if you are using your energy fields, okay, in a positive way, you are pre-sending in this present moment out what's going to come back at you. But then that circles around to the negative thoughts, the fear, the feeding us a diet, that the whole thing's coming down around us. And we put the negative out, okay? And this energy has got information in it all the time. And the quantum field around you is listening all the time. The same as your cell phone and the Wi-Fi have an information exchange through electrical fields. You do too. And so in this present moment, if I'm negative, it's scary, it's all coming down there, it's all awful, then I'm putting out in this present moment energy that will come back to me. I'm pre-sending out more to worry about. And so from a holistic perspective, you want to be present in this moment. And there's energy in physics and electrical fields that prove why. It's not just because we feel like it or it makes us feel better. There's actually physical energy. You want to bring positive. You don't want to bring negative to you. Which gift do you want to bring to yourself in any present moment? And that's part of what the words will teach you. You'll start noticing bumper stickers and billboards around that answer questions back the way the music does. You get so, it's about tuning in, that old term. It's about being attuned to, being in sync. Life wishes to get you in sync every day, but we don't even realize life does that unless you have some perfect days. And everybody's had some. Oh, it was just everything. I got the perfect parking spot. The traffic was great. It's just perfect. You are having a day, okay, then you can have more of those if you will pay attention to life around you. Really what it wants to send, but we get distracted. Surely nobody out there listening to this podcast gets distracted, but there are people who do. And for those who might be listening who do, you can make yourself a whole lot happier if you let life take over with some of the things that come over towards you and tune out the media that's making a steady diet of money off your fear. And we're all guilty. Please to understand, it's hard to miss it. And yet a walk outside, a bike ride outside, meditation for 2 minutes. One of the things I like to tell people is because they'll go, well, I can't meditate. And I'll go, well, do you drive a car? Well, of course I drive a car. Well, have you ever driven from home to work and you really kind of forget the drive because there's so much going on? Well, sure. Well, then you've meditated. But you didn't control. You're worried about something at work or instead of thinking positive thoughts while you're driving, most of us go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That's where you control it. That's and the bumper sticker in front of you that just says chill, please, or the whole piece ones or coexist.
Mm-hmm.
There's cars out there that say focus. There's cars out there that say soul. There's Chevys took a deer, an Impala, and they stuck a deer on the back of their car, and life can remind you how dear you are. It's fun.
It's so fun. I love it so, so much.
And it surrounds everybody. But it's just noticing.
Mm-hmm. I love how you were saying present is present. I'm like, love that. I love that.
Yes.
And it made me think of, like, in the wellness world, we think about like preventative, or I like to call proactive care.
Yes.
This is our powerful present moment proactive care. Like, we get to choose, like, are we bringing in the upliftment and being powerfully present and noticing what's around us and the gifts, or are we off somewhere else in the worry land?
Yes. And being holistic in health and wellness, we can get, you go to the doctor and you get your blood work back and the numbers aren't exactly where they're supposed to be. And you have a choice as to whether you see in the present moment, what are you sending out? Oh, this is going to be awful. It's going to be absolutely, I must have this, or I must have this, or I must. And the doctor goes, you could, it's possible, you might. And people will immediately go to, I do, I have, I am.
Yeah.
You don't, that's not something that's going to serve you. And it's certainly not a way of being in the present moment and pre-sending to you what you really want to come back. You're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you leave the doctor's office and every other license plate is 22, 11, 33, 333, 66, there's all these, your birthday number keeps showing up. That's life trying to go, stop right where you are. You're fine. We're telling you you're fine. We're giving you a thumbs up. It's in the math.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the math. You and I are doing something on computers right now that are run on a binary language of nothing but zeros and ones. And here's scary. I will grant you this. Zeros and ones rule our world. That's why so much can be hacked, because it's all based on zeros and ones. Well, this is your computer. And believe it or not, your computer is much bigger than the one we're working from. I know you know this, but just for our audience. And so the numbers are used around us to speak to this computer, because it will listen. It will notice it, whether we bring it into our consciousness or not, because most of us aren't taught to look at the math. A lot of us hate the math. And this is fun way of life trying to go, stop worrying, it's okay. Many of your viewers will notice 1111. That's probably the one that's noticed the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that is actually doors, windows. If you draw 4 ones on a piece of paper and you hand it to an engineer, you hand it to an architect, they'll go, now what are these doors or these windows? What kind of openings are these? And life, when you see that, is actually congratulating you. You're getting A+ on your report card from Spirit saying you've walked through new doors, ways of understanding, and we're congratulating you. It's not that it's ahead of you. It's that you've already done it. And they're just giving you all these 4 gold stars. You've done wonderful. And that's how the math can be used around you to lift you up instead of bringing you down.
I really wanted to hear a little bit more from you. Like, how did you become aware of this? Like, what led you on this journey to where you're at today? Understanding these things, these God signs. What brought you to the God Sign Institute?
Part of it. Because I was raised very much in a Christian faith. Absolutely wonderful. But at a certain age, completely walked away for personal reasons. Just a lot of ugly can come out of that too. And back in 99, let's party like it's 1999. Here's to Prince and music, okay, and purple. See the signs that can do the symbols that can just come from one individual. I had a best friend, a very, very close friend, die out of nowhere, unexpectedly, at the end of 1999. And the world was coming to an end. It was another fear-based moment in society. Remember Y2K? Those, all right, computers couldn't handle it. The banks were going to fail. Money's out. The whole world's going to crash. Needless to say, it didn't happen. But he, after he had passed, kept showing up in big ways and small ways and all the time. And then to the point where I really did for a while think I was losing my mind, because how does this keep happening? Am I just making it up out of grief? And I basically put a few dares out to the universe. What do you got to lose? That if this is real, number one, you need to keep proving it and don't stop. Don't pour buckets on me. Just do it in small amounts. Okay. And number two, bring me the science, because this can't be happening if there's not science to it. I've been blessed with a really wonderful mind and a very wonderful heart. And so if this is happening and this is telling me it is, then there's something to this that we're not all being taught, and we should be. And of course they bring it. There's all kinds of teachers. People know of Dr. Joe Dispenza. They know of Greg Braden. They know of Wayne Dyer. They know of Esther Hicks. I mean, the doctors, the holistic practices, you could give a list of hundreds. The information is out there, but many of us are tied into the entertainment you were talking about, the negativity, the media that's built now on each of us tearing the other one down. We're not watching entertainment where people are picked up. I mean, you think about the reality TV shows, those housewives are not real. I mean, they have fingernails. They'll tell you they don't do much cleaning, and they're it's to do this. It's not to lift each other up. All the entertainment shows are how can we compete one another and beat out the other? And that just brings us all down. Whereas life itself is trying to entertain you in such a way that it really is quite fun and easy. And if you'll just try it, when you get done with listening to our conversation today, in your heart, go prove it.
Let life entertain me.
Yes. Let me see you do what they were talking about. I want to see the numbers. I want to see the colors. I want to see the animals. You already lived the coincidences. There's no such thing as just a coincidence. Every one of those are bringing messages to you, whether it's a little message about what you should have to dinner, or this is a big message. You need to quit that job because there's another one that has been offered to you.
Yeah.
Or there's lots of marriages that have lasted 40 or 50 years that started with the coincide dance of a coincidence.
I love that coincide dance. I love it so much.
And that's how you said it earlier. They came up with all this. When you open up to life, life is what brought me the word present. Now really look at that word, put a little space in that, and present. And what do you get when you give gifts? A present is bought ahead of time. And then a lot of times at Christmas, we hate it because we've got to mail it somewhere. It's present. And then the present moment, you're doing the same thing for energy. And you go, wow.
Yeah.
And you spend the next 6 months just working with that word. And over time, I'm on 25 years. My friend who passed, still around, and he was reminding me that at the end of this year, it'll be 25 years. And if you're into this even for 2 months, it wows you. It lifts you up. Capital U on the word up.
I've been willing to be curious and call it forth. And,
yes,
my mom passed away several years ago. And I've known.
What's her first name?
Ruth.
That's my grandmother's first name. Now, what are the odds of that?
Well, listen to this. Even more. She sent me things, red leaves, and she would always find coins. She's sent coins. There's this UPS store close to the house. One day, Elias and I were talking about her, and we found a coin. And I said, okay, Mom, but send us some more coins. We go into the UPS store, and there are coins scattered underneath the counter.
Good job, Ruth. Well done.
Same UPS store. My dad passed away last year, and I probably had gotten something from him, but I wasn't aware, right? And so one day I'm like, okay, Dad, send me a message. I go into that same UPS store. There's a new guy in there. And Timothy. That's my dad's name. Is on his name tag. And he's a younger guy. So, you kind of don't think about a younger kid. I'm calling him a kid. He's old enough to work. I don't know how old he is, but Timothy. And so I debate in my mind for a moment, and I end up saying, oh, that's my dad's name. And he passed away back in February. And he goes, my birthday's in February. It was like one of those, like,
for it. I want to tell your audience, wait for it.
Yeah. When is your birthday? February 18th. I'm like, that is when my dad passed. And I was like, it was enough that his name was Timothy, let alone all the other. And I was like, such a precious moment.
They gave me a word for it. I had to get over my baggage with the word God, but that's called God sign. When you go, what are the odds? And let me give you a couple things, okay? Your dad will use 2s and 18s. He'll wake you up at 2:18 in the morning, a few mornings in a row, just to get your attention to prove he's using the numbers. The rest of the world, we're the only country that says the February the 18th. The rest of the world says the 18th of February. And so they write it 182. So 18 and 2. Also, UPS, UPS, we were talking about, put a capital U on that. Those UPS trucks, UPS trucks, is a sign, actually, whether you want to believe this or not, but test it for yourself. You're kind of down, or you're going to have a great day, and you're already having a great day. And those trucks go look up. Just keep looking up about life. And a lot of times, if you're behind one, it's numbers on the license plate from your dad, from your mom, their numbers, okay, to look up. And I try to remind people, because of the physics of us, because you are run on an electricity that cannot be destroyed, we all go home. And so we have a birthday here that we consider very big, but it's not nearly as big as the birthday when you go home. And so your dad's 218, okay, as much as that saddens you, he will use his normal birthday as well as his passing date to say hello to you, the last 2 digits of the year he was born. Yeah. You said it was last year, so that would have been 23.
Yeah.
That's the 23rd Psalm. In this duality, your spirit, okay, in this duality, his spirit, okay, is doing well. And when you realize life is trying to shepherd you, and there's a shepherdess, you shall not want. It really does. Life, I'm not saying it'll pay your gas bill for you, but it'll make sure you have enough financial abundance that you don't have to worry too much, if at all. Because once you start realizing there's plenty of it out there, more of it starts coming towards you. So that you have more than enough.
So beautiful. Oh, such a glorious. Oh, thank you for sharing.
Here's the thing. This is fun.
My father.
One of the things your dad can do is, as much as we love meditating, a lot of people don't. And when I first started into all this back in 99 and 2000 and 2001, I went through my own space odyssey, if you will, because by then I knew this was for real. And what do you do with it? Got to share it. I mean, how do you not? And so it was one of those things where I'm like, just go ahead and bring it, and I'll help other people, and you can help other people. But it's also knowing that time itself is part of this. Time, okay, we talk about present in the present moment. Time is a force and a flow. We've turned it into a watch and a clock. And it's really something that the timing of this matters. It does. My grandma Ruth, okay, your mom Ruth, you're thinking about her, and it doesn't do her any good to put messages in front of you, not meditating, wide awake. You're driving in your car, or you're sitting watching television, or you're talking with your son, and the messages she's bringing you will be in those moments. They'll be within the next 20 seconds or the next 10 minutes, not 20 hours from now. So that you see it in the present moment, or you see it shortly thereafter, or you're already in the middle of it. And so the meditation part gets you closer to your own abilities, and to the source that brings those abilities. But this is something that you don't have to go into meditation to be able to see the animals on a jersey.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or the woman in front of you, one of the things, this is so weird, but one of the animals that my best friend would first use, as strange as it sounds, is raccoon. And in 25 years, a raccoon is now a guardian of the galaxy for anybody that might get into movies. But I'm sitting there thinking of him one afternoon, and I hadn't thought of him for a while. And I'm looking at the clock, and I'm standing at the bank, and there's his numbers on the clock. And here's a girl in front of me, and it's a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But it's the first time I have ever seen a raccoon tattoo that went the whole length of her leg.
Oh, wow.
No, let me take that. It was from the knee down. And I went, what's that message? She goes, I'm just standing with you. I'm like, what are the odds that I'm standing there with a young girl? It was gorgeous tattoo, but raccoons, really? What are the odds?
Right.
When you go, the minute you go, what are the odds? Like Timothy and 2:18 and your dad, when odds like that are set up for you, honey, that's a big message from your dad.
Yeah. Yes. I believe that. Yep.
When you go, what are the odds? Somebody else had to have help in this.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And that's why you had to create the God Sign Institute.
Well, they created it. They told, I was going to call it Life Sign. Can we get away? And they said, it's already taken. I said, how about Spirit Sign? Well, I'm not big on the whole SS and the German, we went through a lot of lessons. They said, would you just call it God Sign? And it gets people's attention because people will go, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going into a church, hon. It's just knowing you already are in one in life, the forest, the woods, your backyard, just a place that you feel safe and happy anywhere you happen to be.
You already are in one.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So this is just so beautiful. And I love all your sharing so much. We could talk all day. Well, I could talk to you all day. I don't know if you could talk to me all day, but
we got to get together for lunch soon anyway again. So
there you go.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So, and part of what we love doing on the Think Holistic podcast is sharing those tips. And I know you've done some of that already. I wanted just to invite you to, share with people like 2 or 3 tips that you have for them that help them to begin to explore this in their lives.
You're sitting at a light anyway in your car. And most people are sitting there worrying about something or totally spaced out about something that odds are is never going to occur and isn't going to happen. And you're missing your mom's message to you with her numbers, okay? And a best friend who's passed in the next car, those license plates, and the songs that are coming over the radio. Animals are everywhere. You cannot get through a day without animals. You can't drive in a car as well without seeing billboards. Animals sell a lot of stuff. Bears are about, you're an old soul and somebody wants to give you a big old bear hug. And they now sell, no offense, but toilet paper. You and I live in the city of horsepower. Indianapolis is known for the Indianapolis 500. That's horsepower. We could have called a lot of different teams to Indianapolis, okay? What we called were colts. We have the colts here. So it's this one big, you start to see how the animals, many people notice hawks. That's about bringing you messages during the day, whereas dolphins are pay attention to your dreams because the dolphins are about dream weaves. So you've got numbers, you've got animals, okay? And the colors, that's one of the things that's constantly there. And if a color keeps showing up, maybe it's orange and you're having stomach issues, okay? You need to let your energy as well as the energy around you relax and start to work on your sacral chakra, okay? There's different ways. It can be life is trying to go, I know your heart hurts right now because of the sadness and green keeps showing up. Or it could be your bank account's a little low and you're wanting more finance and they're trying to bring it and you keep pushing it away with your thoughts and green keeps showing up because most people's money is green. The coins you talked about, pennies from heaven. I mean, that's been around. Pennies are from heaven. as are dimes, as are quarters, okay? Pennies have Abraham Lincoln on them, on every one of them. And if you're looking for courage or you're looking for something to kind of believe in, that's why pennies drop. It's from loved ones in heaven, as well as, believe it or not, Mr. Lincoln himself can go, you've got this. It's been a whole lot harder. I can tell you about it. Whereas dimes are about telling you you're doing a perfect 10. We're going to go through a summer where a lot of young people have worked years to score 10s or as close to it as they possibly can. And your loved ones, friends, angels are dropping those dimes around you to go, you're doing a perfect job. Quit tearing yourself up. We come down on ourselves usually harder than anybody else does. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
And quarters can be, I was wondering about quarters recently, and it can be a way of saying, in this duality, number 2, do your work. You've got it down. It's also about you're in a hurry to get through something and you've got time. In my friend's situation, they started showing up recently. I'm like, why are you using quarters? He goes, we got 25 years in. Oh, drop some more. Save them.
Yes, exactly.
Do something special with them. Or more than likely, he'll give me somebody that, no, you need to give that to them. They need that. Okay, fine. Because the more you give, the more you have.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of going out, coming back. It's the tides, the moon, the sun. It all keeps proving it to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, happy 25, Annie.
Thank you.
Let's keep.
Well, I should say I've been married to my husband a lot more t's that, but he's got money going different ways than that. Just everybody who's listening to this has someone they love very much who's passed, like your mom, like your dad, like a friend, like a grandma. If you will allow them and go prove it and start to pay attention to how maybe their favorite colors, the animals they used to love, or little figurines they used to collect, their numbers start showing up. We hadn't even talked about physically the senses. Everybody gets goosebumps. Nobody's a goose. That's why you get those chills. Somebody in spirit's hugging on you. A lot of people, men get really, really hot. Children get really, really hot. Women of all ages get really hot. You're getting a hug. They're speeding up our physical vibration, our electrical fields with their energy fields, and you feel it.
Wow.
So it kind of goes all, that's a holistic approach, is let them come in and rework on your energy fields and not be fearful.
Yeah.
That's the air we breathe. You don't have to think to do any of it.
Right.
Just enjoy.
Just enjoy the entertainment. Life entertainment. Call a loved one forth and see what happens.
And let them prove it. Yeah.
Ask life to prove it. Yeah.
And they will. And here's the funny thing. My friend Gary, who woke me up, didn't believe in any of this. He didn't. I mean, it's all a crock. It's a crutch. There isn't anything. We get a life. That's all we get. That's the way that is. Everybody just needs to deal with that. And if you don't, that's fine. But that's just what he believed. And so many of us don't think somebody like that would be the one that would bring us the messages. And yet when you realize those are the most powerful.
Yeah.
For him to be the one that opened this door for me when I didn't believe there were doors. He didn't believe there were doors. And all of a sudden he's beating them down in front of me. I can't not see them. That's what everybody you love in spirit wants to try and do for you, is just open the doors.
Open the doors.
To the unseen around you, not just the seen. You can't see the air you breathe.
More than meets the eye.
It's there. Yes.
More than meets the eye.
Yes. Powerful. Eternal.
So much love to you, Annie. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just super happy for anyone that gets to listen to this conversation and to hear your insight.
Namaste. The power of words, and especially here in the West, the words we don't even totally understand that are spoken all over the world. There's so many messages of love, much more than hate. But we're not taught. We're shown hate instead of realizing the world's filled much, much more with love.
All we need is love.
Yes. All right. End with music. It's perfect.
So
all you do need is love.
I want to share with people that they can follow you and find you at the God Sign at online.
GodSignInstitute.com. Yes.
You can also find her in a glorious store that we have on the north and south side of Indy. You can follow them on their website, which is myinnerpath.com.
Yes.
And in the show notes, we have Annie's social media and all the places that you can find her, as well as the links to this website.
And there's one little note, if you don't mind, since we started at the beginning with the Walk the Talk, and because we love Steve Ross, and it's a TED Talks, but it's a spiritual look, a metaphysical, a holistic look at that. And so you can find more Walk the Talks on YouTube. And if you look up Annie Truesdell Walk the Talk, you will be able to see the video of the night that Jennifer was talking about. That was so much fun. And the other speakers that were that night as well, because it was all about signs and synchronicities that night.
That's true.
It was wonderful. It was delightful. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll put a link in there for that too. So
good.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes. What a great thing to tune into to uplift you rather than some of those other things out there. So thank you, Annie, for being with me. Thank you for those who are tuning in. We hope that you will continue to follow our Think Holistic podcast, which is brought to you by Indie Holistic Hub. And a great way to follow us and keep in the loop with us is to join our newsletter. So if you go to our website, indieholistichub.com, you will be looped into these sorts of things, as well as our new Holistic Living magazine and all the juicy things we're putting together in this community. So thank you, Annie. Have a super blessed day.
Thank you, sweet.
And everyone out there, have a super blessed day.
Thank you for listening to the Think Holistic podcast by Indie Holistic Hub, a show designed to help you on your wellness journey. When you think holistic, you live holistic. To find holistic professionals near you, go to indieholistichub.com.